What up, guys? Welcome to episode 121 of Fresh Off the Mats. I think so. Yeah, I think I'm right. I bet I'm right. Just check.
Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I swear we just did.
121.
Where the hell are you?
Bro, you're not. See, you don't have me saved in in your top. You're a piece of shit.
How do you
What
do
does
that?
say? Well, yeah. See, 121. I fucking knew it. I knew it. Do I remember if I hit record or not? I don't know. Yeah, I did.
Like how you still double took too.
Yeah, just had to make sure. 121.
Listen, my brain's a little fried, all right.
How's the first week of school, princess?
You know what sig figs are?
What?
Yeah.
Sig
Sig figs, significant figures. I'm in chemistry.
Sig figs.
And I'm also in
Oh,
pre-cal.
I thought you said sick figs. I'm like when you eat a bad fig, like a fig that doesn't taste
You're an
good.
idiot.
I don't know.
Oh.
That's all.
It's fine. It's good. So far, the pre-cal, it's math, dude. It's just sit down, he talks, go home, you do your homework, and you wait for the exam. It's a math class like any other, I guess.
Damn.
Chemistry is self-taught. So we only go to class. It's called a flipped classroom style. So the lectures are all online. We watch those lectures. We have online homework. And then we go to class to do workshops. And also that's where you get to ask questions of what the majority of the class is struggling with. We put them up on the board and then he decides what he's going to talk about to help the class directly. So I guess it's good, but it's kind of like annoying that I have to self-teach because it's like I got all these other things I'm also doing.
Yeah.
My anatomy class is tough. Like, it's cool though. The professor was a urinologist surgeon. I think that's what he
I
said.
have no idea what that is.
He said he worked a lot on the kidney, so like dealing with that.
Oh.
So he did surgery for 30 years. He was from New York. He retired and then came down here, and I guess he got bored because he was like, I felt the duty to teach. And I was like, shut up, bro. You got bored at home. you came from the New York life. Then you realized the Florida life is really nice, but then you had nothing else to do outside of golf, and you just wanted to fill up the rest of your schedule.
Yeah.
Dude
All right.
retired and is doing that. So, like, he's also living good.
I think when you retire, like,
You
people
get bored.
People get bored, and you got to stay active. You got to
Yeah.
do something. Keep
So
your
I think
mind
that's also
sharp.
what kept him. And you could tell it's going to be a good class. Like,
Yeah.
he taught well. It was nice. But the cool part, like, I don't know how well you remember it when you took college classes, but like, ever had those professors? It's like they just did that subject and then went straight to teaching.
Yeah.
The cool part with him is like he has 30 years of medical experience. So not only is he coming into the anatomy class with that aspect of, hey, I'm teaching you anatomy, but he's like, this is exactly how it goes down.
I think it's weird when teachers go to school to become teachers. Like, they're not like,
my mom.
really? I don't know. Like, they don't have any experience in the field that they're teaching.
So,
like,
It's because
I don't know. Like,
teaching-
they just learn to teach for teaching. Like,
so teaching degrees is because that's what they go over, like, okay, like problem children, different learning disabilities, how to approach things, but then they also learn how to
I'm
set
not
up
talking about
classrooms and all
teaching
that.
special needs. This
No.
different.
This is for everything.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
think
have
it's
to know
just-
how to teach different types of people.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I want my chemistry teacher to have worked in a lab before, not like just learned how to teach chemistry.
Well, I don't think college professors can do that.
Yeah.
College professor, I think they have to have like some credential in order to teach it. But I think
Like,
high
it's
school,
so
I know
weird
high
in
school,
high
they'll
school
be
when
like,
they-
oh yeah, fucking,
Yeah.
your
In
football
high
coach is now your chem teacher.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, there'll be like teachers who are like kids in high school that are like, when I grow up, I want to be a teacher. So I'm going to college just to be a teacher. And it's like, but teach what? Like, where's like a little bit like,
Well, it's because they
if you're a history teacher, I want you to work in a museum, bitch.
Well, it's because
I wanted you to, I wanted you to experience some shit.
that would be better. I feel like that is
If
better.
you're
but
a
then you
math
also have to think,
teacher,
like,
bro,
what's the-
you better fucking worked at a calculator store or some shit. I don't know.
That's my buddy's a math major. Like, I got a buddy that served with the Marine Corps, and he told me he's going to school for math. And I was like, what's your goal there, dude? And I was like, what are you
I
going to
don't know,
become? And he was like,
man.
oh, well, you can go into like data analytics and all that. And I was like, yeah, but don't you need like a master's or a doctorate? He goes, well, yeah. And I was like, so you're going to get.
But that's what I'm saying. I want my math teacher to like work behind a computer doing
So,
computer.
again, I think that's the thing
shit.
with college.
Yeah.
College, they make it to where they have to have an experience versus
Yeah, I don't
Like
know,
high
man.
school, because high school they have to teach you the
Too many
basics.
degrees, also, man. Too many fucking stupid degrees. I feel like
So many.
I hear of a new degree you could get a degree in, and it's like fucking the stupid of the stupid. I don't know. Fucking lesbian paint art or some shit. Fucking stupid shit.
What's the one? I want to know. I want to take a gender studies class just to figure out what they learn
Hell
in that
no!
class.
Why you want to pay to learn
No, I don't
some
wanna
stupid
pay.
shit you can see
No,
on
I don't want to
TikTok?
pay. I just want to see what the hell they're teaching.
All those pink and purple people
then-
on TikTok talking shit
You
to
think-
people. That's what it's
you
like.
think a
You're
gender
just paying
studies
for
teacher
it.
talks to the biology professors?
Hell no, those are like Crips and Bloods. Those are two separate gangs,
I
bro.
was like, I'm taking anatomy right now. I feel like they, and right away in the book they're going over, bro. There's sexes. Each sex has their certain hormones. This is the product of each. This is where they go. Right. That's just part of the system. And then I'm like, man, these people would be pissed hearing it. But Mac told me, she goes, just wait when you start getting deeper into it. She said that when she was going to school, people would walk out of the class pissed. And that's when she was going in. That was 10 years ago.
Oh,
that was almost
my
10 years. She
God,
graduated in
bro.
2016.
You there to get a degree? Shut the fuck up, bro. If you say I'm gonna get an A, if I tell you the sky is yellow, I'm
putting
fucking say
the
it's
sky is
yellow.
motherfucking yellow,
Bro.
bro.
Whatever I gotta say to pass and get this degree. This is not the hill you want to die on in this moment
Right.
when you're spending 40K.
That's like arguing with the cop right at your window.
Stupid.
It's just like, bro,
Stupid.
just take it to court.
Take the ticket, go to court.
Just go to court, bro. You arguing with that dude right there is not going to do anything except get extra charges.
You're not going to sway him
But
at all.
I have an intro to lit course I'm taking. So my advisor signed me up for it because I didn't know the humanities course I needed. So she was like, okay, I'll put you in this. Does it sound good? I was like, I don't give a shit. Just get me the credit that I need.
Whatever gives me
And
the
so
credit,
she put it
dude.
in. It's about folklore and fairy tales. So that's my intro to lit class. Yeah, that's
Good
what I'm
thing you
learning.
started playing Magic the Gathering.
Right? So it's actually, I was going to send a screenshot because one of the chapters is about mermaids, and I was going to send it to you.
Hilarious.
But anyway, she has an advisory.
But can we wait a minute? Pause right there. What is your degree that you're getting?
Exercise science.
Why the fuck do you gotta learn about mermaids and fucking goblins?
Prereq. It's a prereq.
Fuck colleges,
Yeah,
bro.
it's a prereq.
That's exactly what I was talking about the last episode where I said, like, when are you ever gonna need this?
I'm never going to.
You're never gonna need this, bro.
It's the excuse for humanities is making me more worldly, which I don't like the fact
Stop.
that my Marine Corps career
No.
doesn't count to it because I could be like, hey,
All the
I've
worldly
literally
experience
been
I need.
throughout the world. Like I've met a lot of people from
Yeah.
different countries too that got nationalized here.
I know more than the professor does. The professor's never left Florida. I've been more places than the
My professor
professor.
lived in 8 states apparently. That's what
Well,
she said in her
whatever.
description.
You've been way more out of the country
But,
than that person.
Yeah, I've also been, I think, 13 states.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so
Tell
going
me,
over,
please
there's
tell me
an
what you know.
advisory in this class
What do you
because she said that
There's a what?
an advisory, like
like a
warning,
parental advisory
like
warning?
a warning, like a sensitive content advisory. Bro,
What
here's
are you
what she said.
talking
So she
about,
said
sensitive
because
content?
you know fairy tales. So she said how we're gonna go over Disneyfication, where Disney kind of like alters an original fairy tale because like the Little Mermaid, Snow White, all that, those are
they're dark stories.
yeah, they're actually dark. So did you know in Snow White she was actually raped? She gave birth while still in that coma because the prince actually raped her when she was still asleep. So because of that, she has to give an advisory because she's had students complain to her that reading words makes them feel bad and they don't want to read it. So now she puts an advisory before her class because once you agree,
let me
you
save
agree to be part of the
you
class.
people out there some time and money. The world is not what you think it is. Stop going to college. You know what you need to do? You need to go to Target, get a nice, hot, warm, heated blanket, get some hot cocoa, go on your couch, watch Netflix. Don't leave. Stay there for the rest of your life. See what happens. Stay in the coziness of your fucking couch in your fucking home where nothing could hurt you and you can't come into contact with anybody you don't like. Stay there. Don't get the internet either.
Don't get the internet.
There's
Yeah,
bad
actually, you
people
can't have
there
Netflix
too.
either.
Stay away from the world and go live in your fucking bubble on your fucking couch in your fucking home until they come and they take it all away from you when you're dirt poor. And that's not how the world works.
It's just crazy, dude.
Go fuck
It was
yourselves.
when I read when she was because it was like a little intro. It was like 30-minute intro she did, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" And Mac was there, and I was like, "People are so soft, like
Incredibly soft.
reading. They're reading, and they get offended by the words that they read. off of a fairy tale from fucking 100+ years ago, I guess. Like, dude,
Don't read about World War II. It's more gruesome than that.
that's what I'm saying.
Don't read about the war.
About the guys that would, like guys would collect ears.
Yeah,
They would kill them
who's
and then
the-
slice ears and then make a
Who
necklace
was
out
the
of that.
king that would chop your head off and stick it on a spike? What was the Vlad the Impaler?
No.
Wasn't
Vlad the
that-
Impaler would.
Wouldn't he stick the heads on the
No,
spikes?
dude. He
outside
would
the-
put the body and he would put it through your asshole and it would come out, but he would
Oh.
make it come out to where you're still alive.
Oh yeah,
You would slowly bleed out or the birds will eat you.
yeah, Yeah.
That was Vlad the Impaler. Dude
Yeah.
was an animal.
yeah. Don't read about that. You're gonna fucking.
I forgot
have
what the
nightmares.
The whole thing of him becoming a vampire, like that story, is because he did something with like bats.
I thought he drank and bathed in their blood.
Well,
Was that
he
not
did.
it?
He would get their blood, but he did something with bats at one point where he released them all out in order to cause infection to the enemy army to get them bit. And so then it was like that plus him drinking blood and impaling people. It built this whole lore around him,
Yeah.
and which is, I mean, also I think he was like in his 20s when he was doing all this. Like,
Psychopath.
have you ever read about like
Psychopath.
the kings? And Alexander the Great was doing that shit when he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
He conquered the known world
Yeah.
in his 20s. bro.
Yeah, man.
And we got people who can't read the old version of Snow White because there was
the-
a rape scene
He's the
in it.
OG influencers, bro.
That's what I mean. These 20-year-olds were conquering the world.
Yeah.
And
You bitching about having to read a bad story, and this 20-year-old almost conquered the world, but keep being worried about the latest TikTok trends or
it's just
stupid
fucking,
shit.
like, I don't understand.
yeah,
it's-
bro,
it's-
we're
but-
bitches.
But that's
The
so far
people
my first
today
week
are
of college.
bitches.
That's what I figured out. So I got intro.
You got any
lit.
weirdos in your class that you think going to be a problem later on in the semester? Any
No.
people that you're like, oh, this person's unhinged?
No. So far, no. Everyone
Yeah.
seems kind of normal.
Older or younger crowd?
My anatomy class, there's someone who's older. So
But everybody's younger.
and so far from what it looks like, the rest of my classes is like what
You know,
should
make
expect
my
in
day.
college.
You know, make my day is if you're in the middle of anatomy class and someone's like, "Where's her penis?" Shit like that.
So, well, that was kind of addressed in the
Be
syllabus,
fucking
was to make
hilarious.
sure to be mature and ready to absorb the information. and
Hilarious
all
that they're
So,
calling that out ahead of time.
Yeah, so
That's
I mean,
pretty funny.
well, it's also because like now we're going to be talking more about like because you already go through the organs in anatomy 1. Now you have to learn about the exact system. So like, dude, like you're going over the mammary glands, testicles, and all that. So if like if you want to sit there and try to giggle, like, dude,
no. But what I'm saying is, you can't tell me for that professor it hasn't come up in the last 4 years where somebody with a legit straight face is like, "I can't find her penis anywhere.
I feel like it.
Where are his ovaries?"
So I feel like it possibly came up as a question. Like someone's going to try to bring it up to be like, hey, what
to
about
play
this?
stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
to try to be like, oh, well, why is this not included?
ask your professor.
But again,
after you graduate, can you ask your professor, be like, "Hey, I have a question. Has any of those fucking retards ever tried to like straight face talk to you about her
I'm not
penis?"
doing that because I don't know
Why?
how-
You graduated. It don't matter.
Okay, one, this is just for my prereqs. I still need to get into the program. I don't. And also, two, I want to get to physical therapy. I'm not graduating for the next 5 years, technically. Yeah, I'll get a bachelor's and an associate's.
So
but the
when
goal is
you're a
doctorate.
physical therapist, how will you massage her penis?
Why would I massage?
Her
And
penis.
it's not a thing.
Why is it not? a
Anyway, so
Respect her
so
penis,
what
bro.
we talked about, 2 weeks ago or a week ago, saying how we're called fresh off the mats, but never talk about jujitsu.
thing? Yeah, bro.
So I got a
Jujitsu
question. I got a
sucks.
jujitsu question for you.
I have
Oh,
no
we're also
answer.
obviously not fresh off the mats because I'm in school and this shit
It's
sucks.
the afternoon, bro. It's
eats
just
my
the name of the
schedule.
podcast. It doesn't mean every podcast has to literally
Every
be
single one.
fresh off the mats. Not every podcast name has to be the literal translation
The
of
literal
it.
translation.
We do jujitsu. It was a cool name. It's not. Doesn't mean it has to be literally off the mats.
Literally off the mat.
No, that's fucking stupid. If you literally think every podcast episode has us been right off the mats, you're fucking jerk off.
Yeah, that's also
Unsubscribe, delete.
Anyway,
Don't follow.
here's the jujitsu question. Since now that you know, like you have to promote people yourself.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No,
On
I
Saturday
don't.
is your
I'm-
Saturday class.
I
You forgot about it. Anyway, so Mr. Promote,
The mic, yes.
I hit your chest. Anyway, so because I've seen it pop up a lot. Don't know why. I guess it's because it's the end of the year. So I've seen it on like jujitsu pages. A lot of people like questioning people getting promoted or like when they get promoted and all. As someone, obviously you have your Saturday class, but like eventually you'll get up there, and then who knows how long Fabio's going to do it. What are your standards for each belt?
Just to clarify, what he means by Saturday class is Fabio, the head instructor of the academy, who's in charge of promotions and stripes. He doesn't come on Saturdays, but we have a dedicated group of people who solely come on Saturdays. So Fabio told me it's unfair for them to never get promoted, never get stripes. So they're your babies moving
like
forward.
A year and a half or something? Was it a year and a half? Or
Yeah, because I never hand out stripes. I never hand out belts.
He went forever. Dude stayed with it, though. He didn't bitch about stripes or getting belted once.
Well, anyway, so now I took that over. So anybody who comes solely on Saturdays and doesn't see Fabio or whatever, they get promoted through me. Anyways, what was your question?
So what are your standards?
Standards?
Yeah, like for you, like when you're looking at someone and you're like, all right, this deserves a stripe. And then obviously once you hit your 4 stripes, you're ready for your belt. But like, what are the standards for someone for you? Obviously there's also time in place, but then there's like guys like in my instance where I trained a lot. Like, what are your standards?
Time, effort, and consistency. That's it.
Time, effort, and consistency?
Time, effort, consistency. Are you coming consistently? Meaning, let's say, even if it's one day a week, like the Saturday people, they can only come on Saturday. Austin can only come to Saturdays. He's a law enforcement officer. He works during the week, family, all this stuff. He can only come on Saturdays. He comes almost 95% since he's been trained the last 2.5 years. 95% of the Saturdays he's here. Of course, there's Saturdays where he worked overnight the night before. He's on vacation. But 95% of the Saturdays he has been here. Time, consistency, and effort.
When you say time,
he's here, the time in, obviously. So like typically people are a white belt for about a year. Obviously, if someone's coming only on Saturdays, that means at most they're getting 52 practices in a year because 52 weeks in a year. I cannot give him a blue belt after a year of only training one day a week for 50. But Austin, for the last 2 years, has been doing that. So if you add it up, that's narrow it down into a year's worth. That's like coming twice a week for a year. That's consistency. And it's the time accumulated over a longer period. Then there's the effort. When he comes here, do I see growth in his game? Is he changing? When I roll with him, is he making those same mistakes he was making day one? Oh no, okay, now he's not. Now he's keeping his elbows tight. He's not keeping them flared out. That's effort that he's putting in to memorize over the period of time. Oh, every time I stick my arms out like this, I get caught in something. So now he keeps his elbows in tight. That's the effort right there. Time, effort, and consistency. So it's not about physical capability. It's not about how big and strong you are, how young you are, how old you are. We've had people walking with cerebral palsy, autistic people, what else? Missing limbs, missing legs, missing arms. We've had all walks of life. We've had blind people in the academy. So you're telling me that because a guy has cerebral palsy and the legs are permanently bent like this, or he's missing a leg, he cannot play. He cannot play full guard. He cannot play. No,
he'll never get promoted.
He can never get promoted because of this. Or you get a guy, no offense, he's 110 pounds. He's never played a sport a day in his life. He's a thin guy, but he's not strong like you or me or Brian or anything like that. So that guy could show up twice a week, try every time, practice really well. And because he's not able to overpower you, me, or anybody else, therefore he cannot get stripes, he cannot get promoted. No, doesn't work that way. If the guy doesn't quit, he's here for 5 years, he's just going to be a white belt for 5 years, even though he's showing up twice a week. No, the guy has skill. Hey, can you show me how to do a triangle? Oh, he does triangle perfect. Oh, he hip escapes perfect. It's not saying that there's not a pecking order like that. Yeah. It's not like, oh, because you could beat up this guy, therefore you should get a stripe or a belt or anything like that. It's time, effort, and consistency.
So then what are your standards for each belt? Like white to blue, what are you expecting?
White to blue? Listen, people have the misconception that a blue belt makes you badass. You're still a beginner. In my eyes, I expect you to do beginner things even as a blue belt. The only difference you have between white and blue is that you have more time over the white belt.
Understanding.
Yeah.
You have an understanding.
You have a grasp. Yeah. You have a grasp. It's not a full grasp. It's not a full commitment, but you have some wherewithal of what hip escaping is, what movement is, how to move your body a little better than you did day one, how to breathe, simple shit like that. But white and blue belts are still beginners. Those are beginners. When you're a purple belt, now you're different. Now, and not different. Don't let it go to your head that, oh, you're a god or anything like that. But now you're starting to get a grasp. You're starting to get a grasp on your game. You're giving upper belts a problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're being a little challenging. You have a solidified game You know pathways that you take. When you wipe on a blue belt, you're learning all these things.
You're just kind of going.
Yeah, but you don't have pathways to things. When you're a purple belt, you're starting to carve out your pathway. Like, if the guy passes my guard, I do this. And if that happens, then I do this.
That's definitely true. Yeah, that
you're
is
starting
for sure.
to create these little pathways. When you're a brown belt, that's when you're really honing in on those pathways. You're making deep cuts in your game. You're really solidifying a game. And the only difference between brown and black is the time put in.
Yeah.
That's really it. But people have this like weird, I don't know, like.
So your take on these guys that get like white belt, but they're a white belt for like 3-4 years, you're like, that's stupid.
But there's factors.
If they're consistent. Like,
okay, are we talking about a white belt who trains once a week, takes months off in between? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah, that one's different.
Are we talking about a white belt who's here a minimum of 2 to 3 times a week and is nonstop every week?
I've seen people make posts where they'll be like, oh yeah, I've been a white belt for 3 years. I train at least 3-4 times a week, a couple hours, and I'm just like,
you're being held back.
And that's where I'm always like,
in my opinion. Again, I'm not saying it's
your
wrong.
professor's wrong or anything.
Yeah, your professor has every right to keep you where he keeps you. It could be a multitude of reasons. There's not a honed in reason as to why. Are you coming 3-4 times a week, but you're skipping the warm-ups? You're not taking practice serious.
Oh, yeah.
You're treating it like a podcast on the mats. You're not drilling. You're just talking. You're a distraction. You're hunting for females. You're looking at it as a dating scene. Like, you're just trying to talk to females. And
so you include all this as well.
Of course. We keep an eye on all that stuff. If you come here just to, I go to the gym 3-4 times a week, but most of the time you drinking water, you in the bathroom for 20 minutes, you sitting on the wall, you're not drilling, you're not practicing, bro. Like all these things.
Doing jujitsu.
You're not doing jujitsu. If you're here 2 to 3 times a week, and as a white belt, and you consistently training, you asking good questions, not even good. They don't even have to be good questions. Just ask questions.
The fact that you're trying to get yourself better and showing.
You're showing that you're trying to interest in the knowledge being passed to you. Then at that point, I think you're right for a blue belt after. It ranges. It varies. It could be. I've seen people get blue belts super fast because situations like you. I've seen people who get a blue belt after 2 years because they just slacking and not taking it serious.
Then they'll show up, disappear for 6 months, show up again, disappear for another 6 months. And then you know what?
The average
my
is a
biggest
year.
pet
1
peeve
year
is when people are like, oh, I've been a white belt for like 2 years. And then they'll be like, yeah, but I took time off for a year. It's like, so you've been a white belt for a year.
For a year.
Yeah, you were a white belt for a year. You weren't a white belt for 2 years. You were a white belt for a year.
Bro.
And then you went back, and then if you got promoted, it means you only were a white belt for a year. You weren't a white belt for 2. Like, that's
people will train consistently for like 8-9 months. They'll have like 2-3 stripes on their belt, and then they just disappear for like 4 or 5 months. And then they come back and they're like, oh, I've been training for a little over a year. I'm like, no, you haven't. You took chunks of time off.
You literally left.
Anything over 2 weeks excuse me. Anything over 2 weeks time off, that's taking huge chunks out.
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm already feeling it right now. This is going to be my second week off. And
you can't say you worked at a place for a year, but you took a month off.
Go have fun telling your boss.
Go tell your boss, I'm taking a month off. What?
I still work here, though. I'm just not here. And then people will view that as differently. Another thing that I saw today, just real fast, we've kind of gone over pretty good topics, but this guy posted and he was like, I'm a wrestler. I've been a wrestler for over 20 years. What kind of thing is this where every time I call a gym and I ask them if I can just show up for their open mat to only roll, that these guys are not wanting me to do that? Isn't that the whole point? I'm someone who wants to be a part of your business. I just don't want to do jujitsu. And it's like the guy didn't get it because he kept saying, he's like, well, I've been in this for 20 years. I've been doing wrestling. It's like,
so come, but, you're welcome here.
But
if you've wrestled for 20 years and you don't want to learn jiu-jitsu, but you want to come here for open mat, more than welcome to. I'll sign you a membership.
So that was the thing. That's what he was saying. He didn't want it. He just wants to pay drop-in fees.
Or pay drop-in fee, whatever.
And a bunch of people were saying, though, they were like, do you understand from a business aspect, though? Like, they don't know you. What if you come in there and just hurt one of their guys and then you disappear?
Yeah.
And it's just like, and he was like, yeah, but I've been doing this for 20 years. They don't know that. Oh, but I said it. That doesn't mean they know how you roll.
Doesn't make it true either.
Yeah, that's also
doesn't make it true either. You know how many people tell me, oh, I never trained a day in my life.
And then they come in, they know how to grip fight.
They know how to hip escape day one.
They get underhooks, they fight for your neck, they'll go for a
No, I don't even care about all that. I will have people come in And they're like, no, never grappled before, never did jujitsu, never wrestled before, no grappling experience. During warm-ups, all right, guys, now hip escape. And they shrimp perfectly. And I'm like, what's happening? That's
Where'd you learn that? Where'd you learn that?
I feel like the kid in that video.
You don't learn that in any sport. Unless you were, I don't even think
unless you grappled before, you've never had to hip escape before.
No, I don't even think wrestling goes over shrimping. Like, that's the thing.
You trained before. You trained before. Stop.
It's just so funny.
Don't lie.
Whether you had your buddy show you some shit or not, like, you can at least say, like, what do we have? That one dude that came in.
Even if your buddy showed you, you're not going to remember it and do it perfect.
The guy that said, I only train with my brother. And then he was just like, the dude was moving, bro. Yeah. Like, you went for a choke and he would have said, like, he knew where to grab. He had his hands preset. Like, that's where I was like, the second he told me that and I went to shoot for a choke and his hand was already prepped, I was like, you know what you're doing.
But why? But why lie? Why lie? You don't have to lie. You could just be honest. Yeah, I grappled a little bit before. Well, I'm so curious what runs through people's head to lie.
You know, so I think it's two parts. I think some people want to try to catch that guy, like, because if they're familiar, then they might understand the belt system a bit, and then they'll be like, oh, I got that guy. I think the other part is they're worried that if they say they know something, that they don't know the culture. Like, obviously, we have a really good culture here, but I've seen posts about some gyms where if you're like, oh, I have experience, you're just going to try to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And so I think that could also be it, where you're just like, hey, man, I'm just going to say I don't know anything. You can't fight body reaction. You're going to react the way you will. So, like, if you know what you're doing, you're going to react. But I think they might say, hey, I don't have any experience, because they're worried that someone's just going to try to fucking come at their throat. You know what I mean?
We had a new guy, and he did the right thing. He came in, he's a blue belt, I believe. He came in, and he was like, hey, I have grappling experience, but it's been like 3 or 4 years since the last time I trained. He's like, I'm really rusty. I don't really know what I'm doing. When you talk like that, when you could articulate it like that and say the proper words,
which makes sense.
Then you go, like, all right, okay, cool.
Give me about a month and you're going to have it click back.
Yeah, let me roll with you. Okay, yeah, he's rusty, but he knows what he's doing. Yeah. If that guy would have said to me, no, I never trained before, and then he would roll like that, I'd be like, you're a fucking liar. Like, and I would be more mad.
That's the only bad part, is like, it puts a bad taste in your mouth about the person now, because you're just like, bro, we know.
What else are you lying about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, can we trust, like, whatever, like, are you actually someone new here? Or are you just in here just to try to do like also some weird spy shit?
Just be honest. Show up to new gym or whatever and just be honest and say, I trained before, you know, I'm rusty. I don't know what I'm doing.
My favorite was,
and be chill, be humble and be chill. Feel out the room, feel out the temperature of the room, roll chill. If you really are rusty and don't know what you're doing. Don't come at me like a wild boar, because then you'd be like,
I'm rusty, and then you shoot for a flying triangle. I'm
okay, like, all right, bud. You're not rusty. Yeah. Sorry. Not at 100 miles an hour.
And now I'm going to have to defend myself.
Yeah, now we have to hurt you. No, I'm not going to hurt you.
No one will hurt you.
Yeah. Was that? Peace? Promise? No, pinky promise?
No, fingers crossed. You're not keeping the deal.
Oh, no, don't hurt people.
It was a joke.
We'll see you guys next week for episode 122.
122.